of starting Chester and moving to Chris as opposed to maybe just starting Chris? Was that a matter of not wanting to tip your hand, or?
No, I felt that Chester needed to start the football game. You know, I really did. I felt that way, and you know, I don't take a guy out of a game just to take him out of a game because he had a couple of bad series or because of, you know, a host of reasons. I mean, we grade film every day. We grade it every throw, every rep. We grade it every game. Okay, so like those are decisions that are hard to make, and then there's some intangible things you have to look at, and you try to do those too. Okay, so what I was committed to in the game was I was playing Chris in that game. That's what I was committed to. You know, and I really thought in my mind it was going to be right about when I put him in. You know, I said to myself, I want to get him in second, third series. Now, as we've been smoking through the field on those first two series, you know, I might not have done it then. And I pulled Chris in, and I had told him that ahead of time last week. I said, Chris, my intent is to play in this game, but I want to look in the eye and tell you, I'm not promising you that, but that's my intent. Because I mean, you know, you'd look at me like I had 10 heads if I just all of a sudden we were going boom down the field, boom down the field. And then you pull a guy out just because you said to me, that doesn't make any sense. That just doesn't make any sense. But that wasn't the case. We had two series that didn't go so well. Not necessarily Chester Stewart's fault either, but they didn't go so well. Okay? And then I said to myself, it's time to put Chris Coyer in. And that's what I did. You know? And I wanted his legs because I didn't know going into that game where Bernard would be either. So I knew I wanted another set of legs for that game. And so that was another mindset of why I wanted to get him in the game. I didn't want to get in a situation where I had to bring him off cold, you know, late in the game. I didn't want to do that. So it, you know, it kind of played out the way I thought it might play out in terms of getting him in that second or third series, because that was my intention. And because given the fact that in the first two series we didn't really have much productivity, it was right. And that's a feel, and that's my call, and I made it.
Coyer's fumble was a pretty big turning point in the game. Can you talk about his mentality when he came out, what you saw from him after the fumble?
Great mentality. There's no drama with Chris Coyer now. He put the ball on the ground, he wasn't happy about it, and he was getting back to work to get ready for the next series. That's the way it is. I think that's terrific. That's the way it's got to be. You know, he's a man. I mean, he's you know, and I'm moving on. I don't, you know, you guys competing his tail off right there. Put the ball on the ground. Let's get the next series and let's go. Let's roll. Just like I do the same for Matt. You know, Matt Brown puts that ball on the ground. I'm not happy about it, but that sucker's a competitor now. I tell him, hey, carry it a little higher, a little tighter. Let's go. Ready to roll? Ready to roll. Let's go. Move. We got to go. That was the mindset when it happened, and that's part of the game. You try to correct it. You don't want it. You don't want turnovers. Put in perspective now, what he did as a first-time really starter. Only been in the game like I don't know how many plays he's played here, but you know, pretty big environment, pretty big stage, unflapped.
You talked before season about finding finding the quarterback, finding that guy that had it. And I mean, I know you're on your third starter. Last year they switched starters once, the year before twice. How tough is it to find that guy that can just kind of carry a team for a whole year or even longer?
I mean, it can be very hard. You know, obviously sometimes it can be really easy. You know, I've been in places where it's been really easy. I mean, there's never been any drama. In other places, sometimes where you're trying to find the right guy. You know, we've got some very different guys here. That's why it's even a little harder because you got to practice. You know, and you got to practice. You can't practice different styles. That's hard. You know, and but philosophically, you know, I want to be able to be in a setting. I'm going to do what I have to do that I think is going to take advantage of our talent. That's the number one priority. But in a perfect world, I like to have a quarterback that can beat you with his feet. You know, can throw the ball. I like a spread option and I like a power game. And I think that's a new wave going on right now that I've had on my mind for a couple of years right now. Okay, you know, I think there's a lot to that. Making the defense defend a downhill power game, but then the ability to spread them out and run spread option football and utilize your play action passes in both settings. And that's not something I was able to come right in here and do because that's not what was in place here. Okay? So I wanted to take advantage of the best abilities that we had here at Temple when I got here. And, you know, right now we're trying to, you know, gradually move it, you know, instead of come in and just, That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You know, and I think we've managed it quite well. You know, we've had some great games. We've had a couple of games where we haven't been as productive as we would have liked to have been. But, you know, that's where where we are is what I like. But ultimately what I like is doing what our team does best. You know, but I think we're set for this. This, you know, if you have a quarterback that can run it, throw it, right, and then hand it to a really good back, you got some good phases there that are hard to defend. And then you have tight ends that have some multiplicity to them. They can catch, they can block, they can be in space. You're starting to develop into that. All of a sudden, defense has got to defend a lot of style within one grouping of personnel. That's ultimately where I'd like to be. Ultimately, we'll get there. It's year one. You know, let's get the mindset right. Let's get the style right. Let's get the team chemistry right. Let's get the checkers in place and roll. And along the way, let's win as many darn games as we can win in the process. And that's our goal right now. There's 3 available regular season games. One at a time, our mindset is to win 3 games. That's our mindset.
Coach, with all of the rumors and innuendos about the conference situation, you may leave, you may go somewhere else, or you may not. Do you think that affected the kids' mentality the other night?
No, absolutely not. I mean, our kids, absolutely no. Because I don't even. It's funny. It's a good question. I don't even hear it. I mean, I don't. That's Bill's. You know, Bill handles those things. I don't know what's going on with all that stuff. You know, our kids certainly don't. Our kids are so locked. You know, you don't like being around our kids preparing for that football game Wednesday. And I'll tell you what. Yesterday was a hard day. You know, you come off. I got home at 3:45 in the morning, and got up. Didn't really sleep. Slept about an hour. Got up. You know, dorked around. Came in here early in the morning. All of us got on the tape, graded the tape, met our team. They were disappointed. Talked to our team. Went out in the practice field. We got a strong resolve on our team right now. Really strong. I like it. And so I like where we are. To answer your question, no impact on our football team. That conversation has no impact on our football team.
What